Hey everyone, welcome to the daily political tarot readings here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you for being here. It's sad. It's a sad day, and I was going to how I take the things off my nails, and then I actually, this needs to be closer to me. I take the things off my nails, and so then I need to throw them away. So I just threw them. I forgot that I'd moved the trash, so I just confettied under stuff under my desk. MSNBC is about to have a live press conference about Pelosi. Okay, well, we might need to cover that or watch that together. What I'm hearing. Hey everybody. I just do political questions. I don't do personal. I have a whole set of, I got like a dozen of the fun Halloween glasses, and no, not today. Okay. Anyway, Paul Pelosi, husband of Speaker of the House, was under house arrest and for his DUI. So he was home. He couldn't go anywhere. And someone broke into the house with a hammer. He is, last I heard, currently in surgery. They say he's expected to recover, but he's in surgery. He's got blunt force trauma to his head and his body. So, and apparently when this guy broke in, he was yelling, "Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy?" Around here, I mean, how many times have we argued over jokes in the chat or what have you about doing physical violence? And I'm like, no, we're not joking about that. This is why. Yes, and B. Smith, he is 82. So, Divine Spirit, bless Paul Pelosi. Raise his vibration and fill him with divine energy to give him health. That he will recover well and quickly. Divine Spirit, fill the world with divine energy. Raise the vibration of the entire world with glowing, beautiful, high vibration, divine energy for the good of all, for compassion, for understanding we are together, for the good of all. Blessed. Okay. Trying to figure out what to do. Whoops. Let me see here. If I turn this off, I'll see if I can pull up the attach this. I'll see if I can pull up the what do you call it? The people standing there talking. Yeah. I'm going to sign in. 1 second. Yeah, it was a hammer. Goodness gracious. Live TV. That's what I'm after. All right. And I'll read on it, so. All right. Need to share. Yeah, this whole talking of violence is not good enough, and I've repeated it how many times. What's his name? McConnell was saying that when he becomes Speaker of the House, when Nancy hands me the gavel, it's going to be hard for me not to hit her with it. That's wrong. It's wrong to even say that. What happened to Steve Scalise? He did not deserve that. A violence that has fallen on people, they do not deserve that. And that is not the world that we want to live in. So, yeah, it was McCarthy's. Oh, did I say McConnell? I apologize. It was McCarthy who said that. I apologize. Sorry. I spoke wrongly. But then again, at least I can admit that. Unlike some people, I can admit when I'm wrong. All right. So apparently there's just going to be commercials and more commercials and more commercials. So let me, while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go figure out where is this page. I need to go into content live and I need to turn off the monetization. Off. Done. All right, that way we can watch this together, and I will sorry, just trying to do this on the fly. Who did this? Okay, hey everybody. All right. Cat C Client says, I highly recommend YouTube Premium. Oh, yeah, I have YouTube Premium on my personal YouTube account. Problem is I've got because I have different channels plus my personal, I have 3 different channels that I can be watching. So anyway, yeah, Darren, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Exactly. And you learn from them. Oh, geez. Please tell me this is an end to this extremist garbage.
Behind that podium in San Francisco, right. We're looking for more details on the man who was arrested and the details of the break-in of the House of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the assault on her husband, who remains hospitalized as far as we know. Harry, let me go to you, because one of the things we're going to be looking at, of course, is any details we know about this suspect. We don't know anything. We don't know for sure until somebody gets behind that podium and confirms it, the name of that person, what their motivation might be, if we do indeed have a motive. But from a legal standpoint, the prosecutors already talked to me about what they're working on, what kinds of things in an individual they would look at to decide how to charge.
Yeah, look, we don't know, but we have a strong surmise that the reason he went there was because it's Pelosi's house. He says, where's Nancy? Where's Nancy? And there's strong federal laws for anyone who assaults not just a federal officer, which she is, but a family member if it's because of her status as a federal officer. Plus, it gets worse if there's serious injury, as there obviously is. Paul Pelosi's in the hospital. And worse yet, if you use a dangerous instrument, and this hammer surely was. The big point here, look, this is an act of terrorism, and I just want to underscore what Frank and Ben say. It's going to be straightforward. I think you'll see the FBI step in and take control of the investigation, and the U.S. attorney take it over if it's what it looks like. That is going to be straightforward now that it's identified. The really, really vexing problem here, and it's ever since September 11th, is prevention. That's what terrorists try to do. They want you to think they could come from anywhere, and it makes that side of the house totally challenged and, of course, strapped for resources. But in terms of the prosecution of this crime, if it's what it looks like, Chris, it will be a federal crime, 18 U.S.C. 115, 111. It'll take fairly serious penalties because of the serious injury and the use of the dangerous weapon of the blunt nose hammer that gave the blunt trauma.
And Ben Rhodes, it may be just a minute. We just got a notice that we're going to be hearing from the folks at the beginning of this press conference any moment now, but both from a national security standpoint, which obviously was what you did for 8 years in the Obama administration, but also from a public servant standpoint, somebody who obviously was very well known during your time there. What do you want to know? What are you looking for from this press conference?
Well, I think the main thing I'm looking for is, was this person really just a completely alienated and isolated individual, or was this person motivated by a kind of widespread ideology in the country? And was this person working with anybody else? Does it connect back to anybody else? Those are the kind of immediate questions. The bigger kind of conversations that we have to have here are complicated ones, because when you get to preventing incitement and preventing extremism, it's a difficult conversation when it enters into our political discourse.
Let's listen in to the press conference.
Mics are cold.
All right, as we're seeing, they're having some audio issues there. Let's take a look. I'm guessing that those folks are looking at the technical equipment and seeing exactly what's happening there, or they may have been making announcements and not turning on the microphones yet. Let's listen again.
Is the mic on?
Okay. Hey, Rob, can we close that door so we don't get the noise? Okay, good morning. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. My name is Chief Bill Scott with the San Francisco Police Department. At approximately 2:27 this morning, San Francisco police officers were dispatched to the residence of Speaker Nancy Pelosi regarding an A priority well-being check. When the officers arrived on scene, they encountered an adult male and Mr. Pelosi's husband, Paul. Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. Our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody, requested emergency backup, and rendered medical aid. The suspect has been identified as 42-year-old David DePepe. Mr. Pelosi and Mr. DePepe were transported to a local hospital for treatment. This is an active investigation currently being led by the San Francisco Police Department Special Investigations Division. We are working closely with our partners from the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the U.S. Capitol Police, and our district attorney here in San Francisco County, DA Brooke Jenkins and her team. The motive for this attack is still being determined. Mr. DePepe will be booked at the San Francisco County Jail on the following charges: attempted homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, burglary, and several other additional felonies. Before I go any further, I'd like to thank the responding officers for their swift action this morning. Those San Francisco police officers are Officer Colby Wilness, Officer Kyle Cagney, and Sergeant Edmund Hoang. I'd also like to thank our emergency dispatcher, Heather Grimes, who's standing here to my left, for a really amazing job. For inquiries regarding Mr. Pelosi and his condition, we refer you to the statement issued by Speaker Pelosi's office this morning. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our district attorney, Brooke Jenkins, for a few brief comments. And let me say in advance, this is what we know at this time. We will update you further, but we will not be able to take any questions after the statement.
Thank you, Chief Scott. And I do want to commend the San Francisco Police Department for their immediate response to this home and for swiftly making sure that Mr. Pelosi was okay and that the suspect was apprehended. We are working closely with them right now with respect to the investigation and will proceed with the appropriate charges as things unfold, as well as work with the U.S. Attorney's Office and our federal partners. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all for being here. I know you may have, we'll update you when we get more.
Do you know how he got into the house?
That's it for right now. We're not going to take any questions. Thank you. Our office will be issuing a news release very soon, but that's it for now. Thank you.
And so a brief but a confirming press conference, because we now know that the suspect who is in custody is 42-year-old David DePepe. Motive is still being determined, but Ben, I know that you have been looking into this. I know that you have been online already looking for his digital footprint. What do we know about him?
Yeah, I mean, he's already posted lots of conspiracy theories about transhumanism and global warming and COVID-19 and all this stuff online on a blog. Transhumanism is the belief that there are like aliens running the country and that they're trying to get us to inject ourselves with COVID-19 shots, vaccines that are really computers. It's like a very confusing, complicated thing. But he is an OG conspiracy theorist based on what we've seen so far. We're obviously looking more into it. That's why I have my computer directly in front of me here. But yeah.
Nothing specifically mentioning any politicians or any political leanings or, I mean, obviously in terms of his...
Yeah, he mentions being black-pilled and being against... and talking about the cover-up of pedophilia and stuff like Pizzagate style things. I think it's pretty clear where this is leaning so far.
Okay, well, obviously we also got a list, Frank, of possible charges here. So far, they're talking about attempted homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse. It sounds like they have a pretty clear idea of where this is going.
So we do for now, and I applaud SFPD for getting out quickly. So many times we're seeking more information, and they got out what they could get out quickly, and kudos to them. However, conspicuous by their absence was federal officials, the U.S. attorney or an FBI official. And I'm not sure what to read into that, except we've already heard reporting locally, right, that the FBI is in and out of the residence. So they're clearly working this. It's just too early for them to conclusively say, this is ours. And clearly we heard the SFPD official saying, right now it's theirs. It's SFPD, and that's okay. They're on top of it. They apparently need to learn much more. Ben's already laid out what's available here, but also don't be surprised in this for context here. And then having worked and lived in San Francisco with my FBI career, there is a complicated mess of that we see throughout the country, but particularly acute in San Francisco, which is the mental health crisis. And so, many may say, well, yeah, you've got to be mentally unstable if you're going to break into somebody's home with a hammer and you think that aliens are coming to inject us with
we can't blame this on the mental health crisis.
But what has to be worked out, and Harry Litton
would
be great on this topic if there's time, is this complicated thing of, well, is this, how much of this is mental health crisis and how much of this is conspiracy theory? And of course,
okay, at this point, they're just speculating. Okay, so we found out some, so that's good. And let me see here. Just going to refresh this page, and I'll be able to go on to the readings. Okay. Anyway, so hopefully Paul Pelosi is going to be okay. Poor man. All right, so I did pull some cards on how he's going to be. What I ended up with were cards about this guy's mental state, what he was thinking. Not only is it, and yes, there is a certain amount of conspiracy theories and that sort of thing, but this is also a supremacy I think someone said he's anti-Semitic and, other stupid things. So that's with this card. This, my poor son card. It used to mean such good things. I miss that. She is devastated. She is absolutely devastated. I mean, obviously she's a take charge kind of person, but she is so upset, and people will rally around her. This guy was thinking about where America's going, and delusions, absolute delusions, and that, of course, attack the Democrat and attack a woman, or try to. Yeah, so brave. All right, so I'm trying to read on Paul how he's going to do, but I didn't get any cards on him. So let me see. CC Ryder says that the attacker posted videos from Mike Lindell and January 6th theories. CNN is reporting. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yikes. All right. That's just brutal. Paul Pelosi. Paul Pelosi. And like I said, last I heard he was in surgery, so that maybe they're trying to release pressure. Maybe I'm hoping it's something where they're just, they're afraid he has a concussion, so let's hope. Quit demonizing the other side. Quit taking the other side and calling for violence. Quit calling for violence. Not you guys, you're great. Quit, Republicans, quit calling for violence. Quit making stuff up. Page of Pentacles, Tower, jeez. Page of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Hanged Man. Well, they got him. And they're witnesses. Yes, Squeaker Bunny, but you're okay. Yes, you are. You're okay. We know that there are some people on the far right today who are actually who are saying good. We know they're out there, but they are in the minority, and they're heinous human beings. He's got a long recovery. He's got a long, expensive recovery ahead of him. Michelle, I don't know what the beginning of that means. Cheryl's thinking, sadly, it's only the beginning, especially after midterm. Well, the Pelosi's. Good grief! Imagine if that was your father. Just rip my heart out. Squeaker Bunny, you're okay. how could you tell him apart from so many other extremists? There's so many of them who are, and trolls and people flapping their gums. Hi. Tell you what, I think it would be a good time for a kitty. Yes, for a kitty to have. Oh, is your name Trigger's Buzz? Look here. Look here for a good boy. Look at that for a good boy. Look at that for a good boy. There's so many. Michelle says Ace of Pentacles. Oh, okay. I thought the thought that ran through my mind had been paid to do it. I'm not getting that. For what it's worth. It looks like next to the Hanged Man. It looked to me like an expensive hard recovery. Medical care. This is not great, but at least they have good medical care, unlike so many. This isn't going to quiet the other side down, though. The extremists. So all we can do, we will continue to pray, and we will continue to, Robin, do not use my chat to solicit for customers. Please start your own channel. I don't know you, and please go away. I don't endorse you. I don't know you, and it's rude, and that's not what we do around here. If somebody would like a personal reading, I would highly recommend Jen Lin from Jen Lin's Tarot. She's amazing. Seriously, Jen Lin, 2 N's and 2 N's, Tarot. Amazing. Lori from The Way of Positive Change is awesome. I believe Sienna Rose does readings too. She did a healing on me that was just phenomenal. So I highly recommend Jen Lin of Jen Lin's Tarot, Lori from The Way of Positive Change, and I'm sure there are others. But anyway, yeah, another FB troll. Thank you, Trillium. Thank you for putting the link in. Oh, Lena, yes. Certainly if you're in, even more so if you're in Australia, Lena Rodriguez, her tarot, she does great readings and whatnot. So, okay. Lady Eva says, if I were you, I'd just quit streaming on Facebook. You seem to get this every day. Well, I hear you. I appreciate the suggestions. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to go over there and straighten stuff out. But anyway. All right. Oh, hey, absolutely, Michelle. She does distance readings. I agree. All right. I'm by myself today. I don't have any help from anybody, and there's only so much I can do. And the energy is really hard today. So let's just move on, okay? Thank you, Salma. Thank you. Okay, Lisa says if you had a subdural hematoma, then do emergency surgery to relieve the pressure on the brain. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So I had pulled out questions over here. The first, one of the things we need to look at, what kind of got moved up because of this, is a basic question of how are they going to respond on the right to any Democratic successes? Okay. Thank you, CC. And yes, Anthony, this eclipse energy is intense. Exactly. Thank you, Feisty Butterfly. All right. All right. Back on track. You know what? I'll tell you what. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. All right. We're just going to take one moment. We're going to walk away from that energy for just a second. Okay. All right. Just for a moment, we are going to look at a picture. Okay. And it's not kitties, something cute, but it may bring a little warmth to your heart. I can at least give you a tiny bit of Schadenfreude, or however that is pronounced, because I'm sure I'm messing it up. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Mel. Thank you. All right. Twitter. Here we go. Yes, indeed. Lauren Boebert's closed down restaurant. Can you see? Just want to make sure you guys can see. Let me get rid of this so you can get the full effect. Lauren Boebert's closed down restaurant. Oops, what just happened? I just lost where that was. Huh. That's not it. There it is. Okay. There's the one. There's the other. There was someone asking how much for the sidewalk chalk. Oh, and look, there's a mask. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I just thought you might want to see that. That not all bad people just get away with everything ever. You know, we're going to be okay. So, oh, thank you, Barbara. You're good. And thank you for being here. So, Patriot Takes is very good. So hopefully little, why did it close? It wasn't doing well. And there was also some question about, some taxes. Was that it? Fran said, you just made my day. I live in Colorado. She really is a piece of work. True. Anne is saying you are brave to be on Twitter. Anne says she lost the lease. Oh, good. Good. And I'm going to pull this up, and you guys can read it if you want to. I'm not going to read it out loud. Maggie, who thank you. Yesterday on Campbell, there's a you guys know it. I thought I had it here, but I don't. But you some of you know who it is. Please remind me in the chat. He talks about maggoteers. It's raining maggoteers, and one of the things he's been doing is once a week, he has been reading a single page out of Lauren Boebert's autobiography. It's worse than you think. The whole thing is worse than you think. Tommy Campbell, thank you, Sorban Housewife. I knew it's like Campbell, first name. I was thinking it's like Johnny, no, it's not Timmy, John. It's like something E Campbell, Tommy Campbell does a great. Yeah, it can be quite funny, and so let me just. I will pull this up. I'll put it here, and I'll just keep on with the readings. And you can read this page that he read out on his latest Tommy Campbell yeah, the days he reads. All right, and this is what he put up. I did a screen capture, so that's what I'm sharing here, and I'll get on to do readings. Okay, here we go. And like I said, it's a screen capture from Tommy Campbell, so I highly recommend him. And this is a very old image program I really used to like, so you should keep it. Can you post the link? Sure. You guys, if you can, you give that a read. Let me post the link. Tommy Campbell. Here we go. And let me just grab the link. All right. There we go. That is the link. Okay. Kristen says violence will only get worse with Musk letting the haters back on Twitter. Well, yeah, we'll have to see what he decides to do. Lisa says, I'm filled with dread at the thought that Trump may return to Twitter. He may not be able to. Okay, there's not a trash can there. It's over here. Okay. And we're going to read on that. So anyway, that's a real book that he reads. Yes, this is one page from her actual book. It is available on Amazon. Yep. So, yes, Kendall, thank you. He's undergoing brain surgery to apparently treat injuries he suffered as a result of the Friday morning attack. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Knew he was in surgery. Ugh. Whew. All right. Let me just start with 37. Will the violent rhetoric against politicians finally quiet down? I'll leave this up for just a couple more minutes. Will the violent rhetoric against politicians quiet down? This is so sad and so serious. Eight of Swords. I'm hoping they'll take threats against politicians more seriously. I mean, there was a time where if you sent in a letter or you phoned a politician and you threatened them in some way, you were going to get a knock on your door. But will the rhetoric calm down? It depends how the midterms go. All right, I'm going to pull this down. Heather says, I can't read any more of that. Yeah, she's awful. It's even worse than you think. Yeah. All right. Bye. All right, stop that screen and I'll put back the cute little Halloween thing here. I showed you that I got the Eight of Swords, so being hemmed in, being afraid as well. What I got was Star. They are, they're targets. And this is the far right. trying to seeing if their ships come in. So they're throwing dog whistles and red meat to their base to try to get their base riled up. Judgment and Moon, which again, this is okay. I don't want to assume. I know what it feels like, but I don't want. I'm going to pull 3 cards on this. It feels like Republicans are not going to do as well in this election as they're thinking at all, and they're going to be really upset. But maybe Republicans do well, heaven help us, and we're upset, and violence becomes violence becomes a thing. It just feels like no, just no. Oh, 10 of Swords. Ouch, 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 ouch. World. That's a whole lot of votes for Democrats. And a whole lot of disappointed Republicans who couldn't kick down those cups. The rhetoric, the negative rhetoric, the violent rhetoric will stop if it's no longer helping them win elections. Man, oh, thank you, Trillium. All right. At 41:30, Steve had a question, and then a related question from Eileen. So Steve was saying the next headline is Musk will reverse lifetime Twitter bans. Will Trump return? Well, here's the thing. He may not be able to, because we don't know what his contract looks like over on Truth Lies. On lies on social. Unsocial. He may not be able to come back, because it could be that if he jumps ship, maybe they'll take him to court, or certainly it's likely that, I mean, the thing's in terrible shape right now. Truth Social is. All right, Trump, you going back onto Twitter? I don't think I've got a sound effect bad enough for that. Really? No talent, but that's just a buzz. Well,
viewer discretion is advised.
There's that. Sorry, that was a bit loud. So, yeah, I don't have anything bad enough. Is Trump flushing noise? I know you guys have good suggestions. I didn't pull over. I didn't favorite those kinds of sound effects. It's just not my style. Not right away. No, silence. If he goes to Twitter, it's the final nail in the coffin over at Truth Unsocial. Lies Unsocial. 4 of Pentacles. Look, guys, I know you're suggesting a horn of flatulence, but have you met me? Do you really think I'm ever going to use something like that? All right. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to bump the microphone. 4 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, 3 of Swords. Well, Truth Social is going under anyway. 5 of Cups. Oh, Twitter's going to have big problems. Musk is talking about, oh, there are bots and all this kind of stuff, but he was kind of talking about that because he was trying to drive the price down. He was trying to drive the stock down, but they are going to get just inundated. They're going to be, Trump's already hurting. He was exiled and he's been angry, but he's been mad about it ever since. But what's going to happen at Twitter isn't that great either. Apparently Dorsey is starting another Twitter-like app. So something about, is it Blue? Something about Blue? I don't know. Don't know the details. I heard about it in passing this morning. Right, Musk walked in, fired the CEO and CFO and head of safety. Yeah, he's talked about possibly getting rid of as many as like 70% of the people who work there, but he may find that is not quite so easy. And says he paid the $44 billion. Now Twitter is a private company. It's been taken off the stock market. Well, it can be taken off the stock market, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay solvent. Okay, energy right off the top. 10 of Cups. Death. Far right victory card. 7 of Wands. Far right on the defensive. It feels like an army. It feels like a Lord of the Rings orc army, goblin and orc army. Just moving into Twitter. Yeah, and then the place of it being a happy family. Mm-hmm. So what happens with so that's that. And Twitter's having its own problems. 4730. 4730 will something else. Will some other app take over from Twitter? Because that's, wherever that's going to be where people are talking about politics. So. Yeah, if Musk lets Trump back on, I'm done. Delete. I'm done. Lilabelle says Mark Hamill posted that he lost 6,000 followers in the last 3 days. Okay. Charlotte, you are not welcome here. Please do not take Charlotte Linda up on her lies about trying to solicit readings. Bye, Felicia. Anybody who needs a reading, Jen Lynn Tarot, very good. Lori, Way of Positive Change. 6 of Cups. We're going to beat it. We had the 10 of Cups, the card for the last reading. We've got the 6 of Cups here. we are going to find a place where we can just have civilized conversations. I mean, civilized as it gets, just not not that heinous. It's not like, oh, we're all going to always get along and always agree on everything. No, but hey, lucky girl. 2 of Swords, Page of Cups, 8 of Pentacles, not right away. There will be other people will be going other places. They'll make decisions. They'll be going other places. But where we're ultimately going to end up, it's still in the works. All right, fair enough. Okay. Ricky says, Autumn, you're giving me some ideas about creating a platform. I'm going to research it. Oh, I'll sign up. Just let me know. All right. At 51 minutes in, all right, we've looked at that. So Steve had a question here, 51. This question I have right here, we just really answered it, so best as possible. So as Steve says, as much as I try to avoid headlines, it's kind of right there. You just saw a headline that says Democrats likely to lose 20 plus House seats in the midterm elections. The Cook political reporter editor says. Okay, I know it's getting really late, but it turns out that I took on the task of looking at a whole bunch of races and gathering I have a huge database now and very little time to actually catch up with it. But it also means I'm going to have a lot of information on incumbents already in place for 2024. But anyway, House. Who is going to be in control of the House of U.S. Federal House of Representatives? Democrats or Republicans in the bulk of 2023? So like the next 4th of July, which party is going to be controlling the House of Representatives? Every poll I see is just within the margin of error, And I don't even know how much we can trust the polls. Actually, I think I might have a question on that. All right, 3 of Pentacles, there's a plan. Knight of Swords, 6 of Cups, Ace of Swords. That's a card for Democrats right in the middle. This is truth. This is law enforcement. This is truth. And frankly, this law enforcement, I don't think it's being sent out after people, although all this garbage with Trump and his ilk isn't helping. It's not criminalizing women's health care. That would be good. It also, there are going to be a lot of, I told you, it's going to be legal palooza starting November 9th, day after the election. So on the right, they have a plan. Oh, right underneath that, boy, do they have a plan. Whoo, boy. They have a plan. Republicans going out there on their way to get their emperor back, and that they have hope, but they shouldn't necessarily have hope. The cards are not, may the odds be ever in your favor. The odds are not in their favor here. The cards are not in their favor. Over and over and over, I've been looking at this. The cards are not in Republicans' favor. Just cups, partnership, cups. I mean, and lovely cup cards. But you've got big things around it. So, yep. Inflation's getting better. It is going to continue to get better. Infrastructure, people will be seeing the results of the infrastructure bill more and more. So, all right. Lilibel says, Andre from Astrology Alert has said he sees Biden being happy in November. He interprets that as retaining the House and the Senate. I hope so. I hope so too. Kelly said the Reich has had a plan for 30 years, and here we are. Yep. CC Ryder says those cards have been consistent the last 5 readings on who will control the House. I know, right? Okay. All right. Where am I? 56. Let's look at Kathy Lamson's question. Kathy Lamson said yesterday, MSNBC posted on YouTube about a poll from Harvard about Gen Z and about them voting. It may not be that bad. 40% say they're definitely voting. 51% say of those say they're voting for Dems. I'm surprised it's not higher, but okay. So younger people. See, I get confused with you know, there's Gen X and then there's. I think it would be more accurate if we just started saying Pluto and Libra. Pluto and Libra, Pluto and Scorpio, Pluto and Sagittarius, Pluto and Leo. It would make a lot more sense because that's what gets kicked up, and that's that generation. That's the energy and the zeitgeist of their group. My parents are very much Pluto in Leo, very much, and I think I'm pretty Pluto and Leo. Yeah, my parents are very much Pluto and Leo, and I think I'm pretty Pluto and Libra. And you know, some of the people I listen to music, all kind of music from all different ages, and you know, there are a lot of musicians now. They're the Pluto and Sagittarius generation, and it's like, yeah. So you can really tell. But anyway, so I'm just gonna say younger people. Semper says repping the Pluto and Scorpio generation. Awesome. Kelly says Pluto and Libra here. There we go. It makes more sense. It's easier to understand. It makes more sense. It's more accurate. Strength card. Politically active. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Sheila says, I need some kitty love today. Please buy them a treat from me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. Sorry about that. Sorry I didn't say thank you sooner. Cheryl says a lot of first-time voters. Yeah, that's good. Lady Eva says, I was born in 1970. My favorite group is the Monkees. King of Pentacles. Judgment. Queen of Wands. King of Wands. Queen of Pentacles. Well, those voters who are under, I don't know, 50? Voters who are under 50. Let's just say that. The Republicans don't think you're going to vote. They think they can ignore you completely. These are just a bunch of kings and queens sitting around, and these are the king and queen of Pentacles, which is Republican, and the king and queen of Wands, which is the far right. And they're just sitting around, and they just think you don't matter. But guess what? You can change their mind. It's one of the reasons why the far right has such power, because there aren't enough people. Well, makes sense, but they're ignoring young people. So on the right, they're getting squeezed out. The demographic where they're strongest is passing away slowly, and they're not broadening that tent for the younger people, and that's why they're getting more and more desperate. Okay, here we go. Evelyn says, Pluto and Leo here. Excellent. I fought for women's rights 50 years ago. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, I've talked to Aces, Pluto and Leo. I like this method. It makes sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it make sense? Okay, and Kat says, I was born in 62. My favorite four were Queen, Pink Floyd, The Who, and Ramones. There we go. I have a Sagittarius stellium, so I will listen to swing music. I will listen to, I don't know, who have I listened to recently? Swing music, Kenny Loggins, Michael McDonald, Hall & Oates, and various K-pop things. Charlie Puth is amazing. Talent is just oozing talent. Yeah. Thank you, Trillium. Oh, donated for some kitty treats and some mama treats. Oh, thank you, Trillium. Thank you. So anyway, Kathy Lamson says, it doesn't make sense to me. I need a translation. About the Pluto in different signs? Okay, well, we could cover that one day. Okay, they're going to go and vote. I think this whole Trump thing has been like a hello, wake up call, hello. But they're ignoring you. And if you don't vote, they're going to continue to ignore you and keep taking away your rights. So it looks like they are finally going, oh, wait. Oh, the two parties are just two legs in the same pair of pants. No, two legs of the same pair of pants. No, no, no. Yes, translation, please. Oh, information on Pluto and the different signs. Okay. Well, it's 1:22. It's kind of a crazy day. If it's okay with you, I'm going to move the rest of these questions over to tomorrow because everything kind of went haywire. But I'm here literally every day of the year. Let me Cat Shepherd says, I'm all over the chart. Love rock, heavy metal, classical, world music, epic, pagan, folk, gypsy, jazz, Dead Can Dance. Who doesn't like Dead Can Dance? Oh, yeah. You know, I can, you know, 1 minute I'm singing, you know, CIX, and the next minute I'm singing typo negative. It's just Sagittarius. We travel. Anyway, all right, the Pluto thing. Let me explain this. Let's do this. It'll be fun. And those of you, and this is at the end. So anybody who's like, I don't care, I wish you all the best. I wish you all the best. And I'll be here tomorrow. But those of you who would like to know what I was talking about. All right. Goodbye, wonderful, wonderful overlay. I very much appreciated you. I very much like this. I like that a lot. Anyway, all right. Goodbye. Now I'll go up here and I will pull. I'm going to go over. Ding. All right. What I was talking about. All right. This is the basic chart. If you learn this basic chart here, everything's kind of, well, most everything's kind of a variation on a theme. Obviously, anyway, just so you know which direction we're moving in. Aries right here is the first sign. Okay, Aries. And then it's Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo. All right. And it goes all the way around. And then Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac. All right. So when Pluto, which is over here, Pluto, which rules Scorpio, when Pluto goes into a sign, he's the god of the underworld. So in a sense, when Pluto goes into any sign, it starts plowing that field. It just comes in and just starts plowing rows in through that. And anything that doesn't have really strong roots gets kicked up and toppled, so that you can make it gets toppled so you can so new growth can come in. All right. And anything that is established, anything that has strong roots, will be fine. Right. Pluto is also power, and I think plutonium, which can, I've said this, I say some of these things over and over. Plutonium, which can either warm a city or it can make it uninhabitable for 10,000 years. And Scorpios are notorious for, well, having to make that choice every morning, which they're going to do. which side of the Pluto energy are they going to use, right? One of the reasons Scorpios have not the best reputation, and the symbol that looks like an M, but it has that little ding on the end that's like a scorpion tail. All right, that's Pluto. Pluto is moving very, very slowly. 248 years it takes to go. No, I'm trying to go this. No, I had it a minute ago. Yeah, this way. Yeah. It goes into a sign, it kicks up things related to that. All right, let's go back just a second here. So let's go back to the beginning of the 20th century. All right. Pluto entered Cancer in, is it 1914? I don't have the number. I made a whole graph about this, but I don't have it. My astrology books are here. Hang on. I'll tell you exactly. I think I've got it in the back of over here. Cosmic trends. Here we go. Pluto. May 26, 1914. All right. Pluto moved into Cancer. Okay. Cancer is the big mom of the zodiac. It's about home. It's about nurturing, all of this. I have a moon in Cancer. That's why I'm always trying to feed everybody. and my love language is to do stuff for the people around me, to give them things, to feed them, to, right? Sorry. But Pluto went into Cancer in 1914. Well, what happened in 1914? World War I. And it was all of these, the young in the Western world who were like, I'm going to leave my home, I'm going to strike out, I'm going to be a man. Because up until then, generally speaking, it was seen as a rite of manhood, a rite of passage of, yes, I was in the war. We know how heinous war can be, but so it hit home. This was heinous. This was Mama Bear. This was a war of Mama Bears mauling people. This was the most in your face. There were new weapons. They were unlike anything people had seen before. So many of the injuries were disfiguring. Mama Bear. And then so many of those people survived, which was also pretty new. And so it really changed how war was seen. And the people who went through that war, they were not in any kind of hurry to get into another one. However, they had mustard gas and things like that. They were people who lived through this, they were not in a hurry to get into another war, but they hadn't dealt with some of the underlying problems. And says, Russian Revolution in 1917. Yeah. And that came about. Some of that came about because of what had happened in World War I. So many horses killed as well. Yeah, it was awful. So so Pluto goes into Cancer, and it immediately is like, oh, you think this is your rite of passage? You think this is I'm going to be a man, big man. No. Let me show you. Let me show you the power of an angry mama bear. And thank you, Marby. So, yeah, and there were royal family because this is the house of home, childhood, right? So, but some of the things they didn't do was deal with some of the underlying problems of inequality, of fighting authoritarianism. Because this is also, while Pluto was in Cancer, it was also when we went through the Great Depression. So mom and apple pie, and there was not a lot in the soup pot, because in all of these situations, whether it be in Russia, whether it be for warfare and not being prepared for it, whether it's having enough food, all of these things, Pluto plowed through all of that and said, anything that doesn't have deep roots here, anything that isn't strong, anything that needs to go so that something better can be put in its place, that's what's happening here. So that's what happened. You really can look at history. And I don't know about a book right now. Let me just keep on here. I'll lose my train of thought. Sorry. Yeah, Midwest Dust Bowl, Anne. Yeah. The Cancer is directly opposite Capricorn, which is the big dad of the zodiac. This is the big mom of the zodiac. This is the big dad of the zodiac. Big mom of the zodiac, that's where our sun is for the US. Capricorn. The UK, the original, like way back, actually, England, way back. The UK, especially England, is very, very much a Capricorn nation. But this is where you get the people of status, the people with stocks. And so when Pluto was over here, it not only cut down all this stuff here, it also sent shockwaves across to the opposite side. So that was Pluto in Cancer. And people who were born during this era, they had that ingrained for how many of these people for the rest of their lives were hoarding food, were keeping money under their mattress, because it can be traumatic unless you kind of, and I hate to say this, unless you kind of learn to deal with Pluto, and I have a terrible time dealing with Pluto. Pluto had burned my life to the ground several times, and I'm just not a fan. But I can understand, and I do believe we have to go on. So, because of all of that in Pluto and Cancer, we moved on to, it's like, okay, Pluto's going to change signs again. So Pluto's looking around and saying, okay, I'm going to change signs now. I'm going to move into Leo. What is, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat. Okay, I'll just leave that alone. Pluto was going to go into Leo, and it was like, okay, Leo. What is Leo about? Leo is the king, the queen, the authoritarian. If you think about it, the old kings and queens, they were authoritarians. And, their whim was law. And, you could have benevolent rulers, but, you get your Henry VIII and your, heinous people. But so Pluto decided, it was like, all right, going into Leo. So it went into Leo. It tends to go into a sign, and then it retrogrades back out for a few months. Just double checking on like what was going on in Cancer. Just, okay, did I pick up everything to do? Okay, and then it moves forward. Pluto first went into Leo on October 7th, 1937. And it went into Leo for good for 14 years or whatever. In late 38, early 39. Well, what happened in 1939? What authoritarian did we have to deal with in 1939? And so we had to deal with everything related to this fifth house, which is Leo, ruled by the sun. And it's about what we create. It's about children. It's also about fun, gambling. It's a think of how much free time that kings traditionally had to frolic. So Pluto went into Leo, looked around and said, okay, who's the biggest, ugliest authoritarian rock I can find? Oh, Adolf, you're up. And we ended up in another war. And then after the war, it was austerity. But we recovered and things got better. But it was hard. It was hard and it was scary. And we ended up with people who grew up with Pluto and Leo, who were grappling with issues of authoritarianism. And some of those people came out understanding it's bad And there are some who came out who grew up and ding, we're supporting Reagan. So when Pluto moves from sign to sign, it kicks up the energy of what that is. With Virgo, the sixth house here, Virgo is it's the second earth sign. And I joke, and it is a joke, of the earth signs. Taurus grows it as a garden. Virgo crafts it. Beautiful Japanese craftsmanship. Capricorn makes it expensive. Capricorn is where you find the haute couture and the $10,000 bags. But this is the crafting. And as much as I understand that Mercury rules Virgo, I always think of Saturn ruling Virgo almost as much, just my experience. Not saying that's right, but think of Japanese craftsmanship. It's meticulous, it's dedicated, this is also the house, this wedge is the house of daily work, health. And this was the post-war boom. So Pluto moved into Pluto moved into Leo for the last time in June 14th, 1939. It moved into Virgo for good in June of 1958. And so from 58 until about 71, 72, think of that time in our period, mid-century, the work, the rebuilding, the suburban life, the businessman, the tweed suits, but it's also the conformity. Sorry, Virgos. It can be a blessing and a curse because you end up with my sun is in the sixth house. So even though I'm a Scorpio, I definitely have some Virgo energy in the background of myself, which is why I wear so much. That's one of the reasons I am the way I am. But there's a conformity. They're not the super open-minded Sagittarian, let it all hang out, ruled by Jupiter, Bachian Jupiter up here. No. This is Virgo. This is clean line, beautifully crafted mid-century furniture. Corporations, you work for IBM, you work there for 30 years, you will get a pension, you will be rewarded. When you work, you will be rewarded, okay? And people who were born with Pluto and Virgo, they grew up in a lot of that energy, and it affected how they see the world. Okay. Now, what happened is in July of 72, Pluto moved into Libra for the last time. I know it was there before then because I'm a Pluto in Libra. When Pluto first went into Libra, that's when I was born. Then it retrograded out and it came back in. So Pluto and Libra here. Okay, what is Libra? Libra is the seventh house of marriage, partnerships, seeing both sides, getting along, relationships, marriages. They say that there can even be like a movie that will embody the zeitgeist. And there's an argument I've heard that one of the key films of Pluto and Libra was Kramer versus Kramer. This is what you got when people who had gone through the Pluto and Virgo, all the constrictions, all of the You know, there was a time where you didn't even say the word divorce. It was the D word, you know. And that had a huge effect. And this is where you get the ideas of Gen X, where they say latchkey kids. Parents were separated or divorced, or they were both working. They were definitely, minds slowly open more and more. But this is courtship of Eddie's father, stuff like that. And because it's also seeing both sides and what have you, I often feel like people from my Pluto and Libra generation were kind of caught in the middle between the Pluto and Libras and then the super open-minded, world-connected Pluto and Sagittarius generations. And we often get forgotten. Demographically, we were a slightly smaller generation than the ones on kind of either side of us, or before us and then after. Anne says, I was a latchkey kid in the 50s. I understand that. These are generalizations. These are generalizations. I know there are exceptions. I know that. Please don't think that I don't understand that I do. But anyway, so that's, I think of Kramer versus Kramer. And so it stayed in Libra until Pluto moved into Scorpio in 1984. Okay. When Pluto changes signs, it doesn't mean we're necessarily going into war. It just doesn't. Okay. But there's usually something. There's often something. Scorpio, but different signs rule different parts of the body. It starts with the head, with Aries, you know, Gemini, the two different things in Gemini. Those are your hands, it can be your arms, but think certainly your hands. My ascendant is in Gemini. What's the big thing? Do I wear big earrings? No. Do I wear big necklaces? No. I wear nails that I change every day. Gemini energy. Okay. Different parts of the body. Okay. You work your way down. Scorpio rules your nether regions and reproduction, that area of the body. What happened in 1984? They finally discovered the AIDS virus. And then yes, B. Smith, Pluto and Libra saw abortion legalized. Some more equality in relationships. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you. Scorpio. Yeah, and that was at the beginning of Libra, Pluto and Libra. Pluto and Scorpio, AIDS epidemic. But also this, because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is the god of the underworld, which is also, I said, power, money. It became a, 1987's Wall Street movie. Greed is good. I have power. I'm not going to be some namby-pamby working with everybody else kind of thing. No, power. I want power. I have power. And women were suddenly having more power in the workplace. And the fashions, I love that the fashions were women specifically wearing big shoulder pads. And what does that do? Besides make you look like a Romulan, which is not a bad thing. It makes you look more masculine. It makes you look more powerful. Traditionally powerful. And that was Scorpio. That was Pluto and Scorpio. What year did Pluto move into Sagittarius? 1995. November 10th, 1995. Sagittarius. Sagittarius is always trying to look over the horizon. What's out there? What's over here? What's over there? I want to try that. I want to go there. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is Bacchus, really. But it's expansive and jovial. Jove, it's another name for Jupiter. Jovial, you know. And, the ghost of Christmas. What is it? Ghost of Christmas Present, from the Christmas Carol. With its chest hanging out and is why you are a merry fellow, kind of. That's Jupiter. And Sagittarius is what's over there, what's over here, what's I bet there's something interesting there. And so this is outward. My father is a Sagittarius. I thought the lockdowns were just going to do him in. And Mom and I just looked at when they said there were going to be lockdowns, my mom and I just looked at each other and we're like, he's not going to stay home. And he tried for a while. He tried. But you can't keep a Sagittarian home like that. And I know there are exceptions, but. So Sagittarius, well, what happened in 95? What was the big thing? Big tech. The internet specifically. This is, I want to be out in the world. I want to communicate with the person over there. I want to communicate with the person way over there. I want to communicate with somebody on the other side of the world. Like right now. Isn't this cool? That's where it's that I want to be out there. Things like email, they had existed back in the 80s. Back in the mid 80s, some places there was a way to do email, but Sagittarius, we are going out. And so people who were born with when Pluto went into Sagittarius in 95, it just, all of that just expanded. The stock market went, whew, and that's one of the things with Jupiter. It's so positive, it's so optimistic, but it can also be a blowhard. And what did the stock market do? So a few years later, the stock market, it just couldn't keep climbing like that. So that was Sagittarius. Pluto moved into Capricorn in 2008, November. And I know that because what happened in 2008? Capricorn is its status. It is, back in the day, they didn't look at women's charts with, when am I going to get married? They didn't look over here at relationships. They looked at here. They looked up here at your status at the top of your chart, because whether you were married or not as a woman was sometimes the only status you were ever going to get. This is where you get your designers, your haute couture, who was in Red Sea Diving Resort with Chris Evans, the woman. Oh my gosh, her name escapes me. I can see her. Anyway, her Instagram, it's all beautiful muted tones of black and gray and camel and off-white and fresh flowers, white flowers and all. And it's just like, you're a Capricorn, aren't you? And you go look and it's like, yeah, she's a Capricorn. It's that kind of thing. It's very classy, but it also rules hierarchy, which is how you get class or no class. So in 2008, the expansive nature of Sagittarius, where people were getting more and more mortgages, let's just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, hit Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, which constricts. It makes you classy, but that means you're going to have manners. That means that you're going to have limitations. 2008, housing market collapsed. What was able to give some people who had houses for the first times in their lives, in their families' lives, they had status. They would have the status of being a homeowner for the first time ever. But if it's Pluto, so if the roots weren't strong, if they couldn't afford it, if they had taken on these balloon mortgages, it just collapsed. So this era from 2008 until now has been about status. And Pluto did three main things while it was in Capricorn. One, it blew up the housing market where there weren't roots. Two, it looked around and it said, oh, you guys, you got the status thing here in this field. Oh, status, huh? Yeah. All right. You have to be, oh, and you still think you have to be white and you have to be all of these things to have right? Okay. All right. I'm going to find a constitutional scholar, incredibly intelligent, charming. Oh, yeah, he's going to be black. And we're going to make him president. And we're going to make him a non-problematic president. So you can't even go with old stereotypes. No, he's not cheating on his wife. He's not stealing. He's not. No, he's a good guy. And watch all of those people who have rigid ideas about Capricorn, watch their heads explode. And they did. And so Pluto in Capricorn is where we got our first black president. And then after that, because it made all of the racist heads explode, Pluto looked around and said, okay, who has status who doesn't deserve it? Who shouldn't have status? Who's the biggest con artist? Donnie, come here. And he put Mr. Status, Mr. I was a millionaire before I was 3 years old. I'm really rich. We're going to make him the president. We're going to teach y'all about, Pluto's like, I'm going to teach you all a little something about status. And boy, did he. So in 2024, yep, November 20th, 2024. Well, that's when it goes in permanently. It will, next year, March of next year is when Pluto's first going to go into Aquarius. All right, it will go in for good November of 2024. But Pluto is about to go into Aquarius. This is a house of we. All of these signs below this horizon are all about I. If you look at the writing, it's I am, I have, I think, I feel. But from Libra over here to Pisces, it's all we. We are, we have, we think, we achieve, we love. Not I love, we love. And it's ruled by Uranus, which is technology, which is very forward thinking, bolts out of the blue, quirky as heck. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, its color. Now, it's another thing. Before I forget, look at the dominant colors of the time. Sagittarius color, purple. How much purple did you see in the 90s? How much gray have you seen since 2008? I've had trouble finding bed sheets that weren't gray. Right? Scorpio, power red. Sagittarius in the purple in the 90s, gray Capricorn. We're going into Aquarius, which is kind of a silvery color because it's all forward-thinking technology. But the thing about Uranus, because it's ruled by Uranus, you've got to keep in mind is that all the other planets, we've got our axes, our North Pole, our South Pole, we've got our little axes, right? All different planets, except Uranus. It was hit by something somewhere, and it is on its axes, it's on its side. So it's actually rolling this way as it's going around. As it's going around the sun, it's not doing this around the sun. It's doing this around the sun. It's got its own way of thinking. you get, when Aquarius goes wrong, it can be very robotic. So chances are we are going to get into lots of robotics, lots of technology. When it goes wrong, you end up with the stiffness of a Zuckerberg, a maverick, where the meaning of that has changed over time, but of an Elon Musk, stuff like that. But it's also it is the humanitarian sign. Even the symbol for Aquarius is water, and it's a woman giving an equal amount of water to each person. Now, that means you can't come back later and say, oh, I need some more. It's like, no, everyone equally. This, and our moon is an Aquarius. America's moon is an Aquarius. We're that whole equality thing. We have an emotional need for equality as a whole. Pluto is about to go into Aquarius. So in 2024, I am waiting for Pluto to hit Aquarius, look around and say, oh, what field am I in now? Oh, equality, technology, humanitarianism. What in all of that doesn't have strong roots? I wouldn't invest in it, whatever it is. Personally, I'm expecting there to be internet disruptions. That's just me. I could be totally wrong, but it's that kind of thing. So the reason I explained all of that is that when people talk about Gen X, Gen Z, millennials, this, that, the other, what year is this or that, or I'm half this, half that. Where's your Pluto? Because that's going to tell me a lot about what the world was dealing with, what they were wrestling with when you were born, and that energy stays with you throughout your life. So, and that's that. All right. So yeah, boomers are boomers were obviously a big group in general, but the time's weird. If you actually break down, I have a personal Instagram account that I have not used in a long time, but it's there. And I made a graphic for it a long time ago, which was saying, if you follow like what year is boomers, what year is Gen X, what year from here to here, here to here, they don't make any sense. Boomers, the timing is massive, and there are a couple of others. It's like, how can it be like 10 years or 8 years or something stupid? Whereas this is more accurate. Pluto's on an oval. It's not on a circular orbit. So it stays in, from our perspective, it stays in some signs longer than others. But apparently it zipped down through all of this warfare stuff. I heard somebody say that it went through that relatively quickly because it was on the, but I don't know if that's true. Boomers, it's Pluto in Libra and a lot of Pluto in Virgo. Gen X, Pluto in Libra, baby. But beyond that and on, and what are you going to call things? You'll know exactly what to call them. Just call, because you know what's coming up next. Babies born from mid 2024 on are going to be Pluto in Aquarius, and then it'll be Pluto in Pisces, and then it'll be Pluto in Aries, and then it'll be Pluto in Taurus, and then it'll be Pluto in Gemini, and on and on. Yeah. So that's it. I hope that made sense. And helped you kind of understand the world a little better, maybe understand astrology a little better, just a thought. So, all right, that's going to do it for me. It's 2:02 p.m. here in Chicago. I've been talking and talking and talking. I should cut this out and make it its own video. But anyway, at 4 o'clock in less than 2 hours, I'll be over on the Creative Sprints channel. So doing creative sprints, you're always welcome. I think I've got a new timer today, new graphic for timer. Yeah, pretty sure. Got to double check it. But when I downloaded it yesterday, it looked like it was working. So I've got a new pretty, a new pretty timer. And other than that, I will be right back here tomorrow. I'm here 365 days of the year, and tomorrow evening is the Patreon Tarot Social. So you've got me from 8 to 10 p.m. We're going to talk about all things Halloween and crazy old Halloween costumes and all kind of great stuff. All right. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys liked it. That makes me happy. All right. Take care. You are not alone. We are in this together, and there are good days ahead. All right. So take care, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye.